Good evening, family. How are you today? Tonight we have a special show for you, I promise you. It's called the Inspiration episode. Are you inspired right now? Because if you're not, at the end of this show you will be. I have some of the most illustrious guests that are coming on that are going to share their stories and also a little bit of their art as well. Now, throughout these times, I know we're not really focused on what our passions are, what we want to do. But I promise you, now is the best time to do it. We have the most time that we probably had in our lives to sit down, settle, and plot out a plan on what we can do for our passion, how we can better ourselves, and also if you have aspirations to go up higher in any level of business, now's the time to do it. So just hang in tight with us, stay tuned, because once we come back from this small commercial break, we'll bring on our first illustrious guest. You're here now with World Views with Ken Mills on Boss Up Houston Network.
Boss Up Houston, you know why? Right here.
Alright, and we're back. Now, let me introduce this gentleman here to my left. I've known this gentleman for probably over 20 to 25 years. I lose count. Now, the gentleman here has a beautiful journey. And I mean, right now, he's doing marvelous things with motivational speaking. I'll bring to you now Mr. B.
Good evening, founder.
Alright. So, Mr. B.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So I understand that you're from Keisha, Louisiana, right?
Yes.
All right. So you made your movement down here to Houston, and I recall when I first met you that you were a musician.
Yes.
With JAG Entertainment. Tell us a little bit about JAG.
That was a long time ago. That was 20 plus years ago.
Yes, sir.
And I was in the hip hop industry for a while, and I had a bunch of guys that was around me that had a lot of talent, and I felt like I was pretty good, so I put a group together, and we had a good run at it. And something happened in my life that changed everything. A lot of people don't know this. I had just signed this promotional tour with Budweiser. I had just signed up with a new management team out of Mansfield, Louisiana, and my son was born. And when my son was born, see, a lot of people don't know that years ago my mom was murdered. And one of my fears in life was growing up without my mom. I didn't want my kids to ever be without me. So when my son was born, and I was right where I wanted to be in the music industry. We had just shot a video. Guy by the name of Rodney Ham from May Better Bonds, he had paid for the video, and he had blessed us, and we was doing real well. But right when it seemed like everything was working, my son was born, and I chose my son over the music industry. And I decided to do something different with my life, because when I was in the music industry, everything wasn't just about music. I was doing a lot of other things. And I chose my son over that life. And in the midst of doing that, I decided to give back and figure out a better way to serve the community and help people. And that's where this new platform that I stand on, this new journey came into my life. It was all because my son was born. It was like I met love and I met God for the first time, and my life changed forever.
All right. So I take it that when you first held your son, you felt that you were in the presence of God, right?
When I first saw him.
When you first saw him?
When I first saw him.
Okay.
When he was wrapped up like a little burrito. Yeah.
All right. So, getting into that journey where you moved from the music business into your motivational speaking, did you encounter any obstacles?
Yes. Because in my past life, it wasn't a great life. Right. I chose to do some things that wasn't what I call normal. And so people knew me for who I were, and they didn't know me for who I became. Right. And so as I presented myself to people, I had a lot of doors that was closed in my face, because all they saw was what I used to be. They couldn't see what I was becoming.
Right. And what were some of the steps that you did in order to, number one, re-energize and also to rebrand?
Honestly, I had to dig deep within myself, because a lot of people, like I said, they still saw what I was. Mm-hmm. So I just started spending some time with myself, identifying where I was going, and I leaned on God. Because that old man told me a long time ago, he said, if you want to go anywhere in life, you better take God with you. And I remembered that. And that was years ago, before I even gave my life to God. It's like I remembered that, and I just said one day, okay, God, old man told me, if I want to go anywhere in life, I need to take you with me. So I'm asking you to go with me.
Okay. So with that being said, is there a particular verse within the scripture that encompasses those things that you're working to achieve?
Yeah. It's Deuteronomy 30:19.
Okay.
God said, I call heaven and earth to record this day. I set before you life and death, blessings and cursing, therefore choose life. It's like God gave you a cheat sheet. He said, choose life so you and your descendant may live, meaning your kids. And at that time, like I said, when I had my son, it was like I met God and I met love at the same time. And it's like God gave me that. He said, okay, if you want to go out on this journey and be successful and be the man that you want to be, so your kids can see the right route to take, follow this lead. And that's a very, very powerful scripture to me, because it let me know every day I wake up, heaven and earth has a responsibility. See, this whole world, you know, I tell people this all the time. We serve a forgiving God, but we live in an unforgiving universe. And whenever you speak something you believe it, the universe has to respond, because God said it in Deuteronomy 30:19.
Wise words there. Because I'll go back to what my mother told me. Be careful what you say, because you may speak it into existence. So that's why I'm very choice with my words. Thank you, Mom. So I want to shoot back to, you know, now that you were reinvigorated with the Spirit of God. Did you have any chances to go back out into community and perform any outreach?
Yes. Really, that's what the Knowledge Corner, Mr. B Knowledge Corner, that's where it came from. I decided to I worked out at Lakewood Church for 6 years in a recovery program. I did volunteer chaplain work in all the state jails around Houston. And I decided to go back and become a counselor to give back to some other facilities that I was connected with through the chaplain program. And in the midst of all that, I'm sorry I jumped the gun, that's when the Mr. B Knowledge Corner came to life, because I was at the Open Door Mission, and the guy asked me, he said, instead of you coming out representing a program or organization, why don't you come out and represent yourself? And so in the midst of that, I said, okay, I'm going to give you something. So every week, I used to send them something out to the Open Door Mission, like a little 3-minute video. And the guy was like, man, can we have you out here every week? I couldn't come every week, but I said what I'll do, I'll come every 90 days when they have a turnover. And so those guys at the Open Door Mission, they plug into me every week, not knowing that the Knowledge Corner will start touching people all around the world. And so that's where I am right now with the Knowledge Corner.
So, okay, so when you started off with a 3-minute video, what platform were you on when you began with it?
Meaning?
Meaning like social media. What was it? Was it
YouTube
recorded? Oh, okay.
Okay, I started with YouTube, and you know it's funny, man. I sit back and I was riding in the car on the way over, and I was like, look what God had brought me from where I came from to where I am, to where I started with the Knowledge Corner. It was just me talking to a little Samsung cell phone, and now I'm sitting here with you.
Right. And you would have been sitting here with me regardless. Because I would tell you that you've been an inspiration to me since I first met you. And I also believe in giving roses to those who are living instead of waiting till they're dead. So I recall one time you opened up to me and you invited me to the studio with y'all. And from that point forward, I had I wouldn't say a thirst, but I had a passion for trying to figure out my way in entertainment. So I applaud you and I thank you for opening that door for me. So with Mr. B's Knowledge Corner, what other, do you have any other aspirations for it? Do you have any other things that you're going to work with?
Yeah, my ultimate goal is to build a facility.
Okay.
So I can teach young men how to be men. Because as I grew up, that was something that was missing out of my life. I grew up not knowing how to be a man. And through this new journey in life, I learned how to be a man, how to think like a king, how to be a leader, how to be a provider. And there's a lot of young men out there that came up the way I came up. They was misled and misguided, and now they lost. And I want my ultimate goal is to build that facility where I can teach the way things should be taught. Because a lot of things that I see that's going on in the world, to me, is because the men are missing. I was thinking about when Jesus came down and there was a problem in the world, he didn't go and get 12 women. He went and got 12 men. He said, in order for me to fix the world, I need to come and fix the problem. He came and fixed the men, gave the men back to the world. He said, now go out there and teach the world. He said the women's gonna follow, because a real woman have no problem following a real man, but a man have to know how to be a man. And that was something that was missing in my life. And I made a lot of mistakes early in life, and I want to help a lot of young guys not to make the same mistakes I made. That's why I have a book coming out. The first book is called the Mr. B book. It's just a quote book. But the real book, and that book is coming out November 15th, but the real book is called Look Into the Eyes of Greatness. Really, it's telling you to look into the eyes of a king. Because once a king set up his kingdom, everybody is safe.
Amen. Amen. Now, Mr. B, how can they find you on social media?
Right now, I'm just on Facebook and YouTube. I have a lot of videos on YouTube now and Facebook. Those are only two outlets, or the only two vehicles that I have at the moment. But we still growing, and other things will be coming in the future.
Okay. Now, thank you, Mr. B.
All right. Thank you.
Now,
appreciate you.
Now what we'll do, we'll go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll have another illustrious guest. You're now kicking it with World Views with Ken Mills on Boss Up Houston Network.
I want to give you the opportunity to tell your truth. So let's start with what happened. This is Red Table Talk.
Red Table Talk.
Red Table Talk. This table carries no judgment.
I suffered trauma at an early age.
This table brings out your truth.
I had to hit rock bottom. I had to lose everything.
This table encourages you to share your story. I was just caught up in that pain.
This table has room for everyone.
For everyone. Red Table makes you emotional.
When there's a lot of love there, there's always a path towards healing. Intimate, provocative, unfiltered. Join us.
Take a seat at the table.
Only on Facebook Watch.
We're back here now. Now, this young lady that's sitting next to me, I don't know if you know her or not, but after this interview, you definitely will. She's a renowned comedian and also a burgeoning entrepreneur. Y'all give it up for Keisha Hunt.
What's up, Ken?
How you doing, Keisha?
What's up, baby?
Already. It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Already. So, Keisha, I know most of my audience, they know you from doing comedy, right?
Yeah, buddy.
So, how did you get started?
Okay, well, you know, I've always wanted to make people laugh. That's been my thing, bring joy in the family, around my friends, at school. Right. But it wasn't until I did a play here in Houston, went to an audition, and another comedian, female comedian, was at the play. And she was like, hey, you funny. Come down to the spot. They was at Club Classic on
Cross Timbers.
On Cross Timbers. On Thursday nights. And the host was up there and she was like, okay, the next lady we got coming up, I forget her name, y'all give it up for Lil Bit. And I started looking around, I'm like, who is Lil Bit? So that was me. I ain't know she was talking about me. And my first time on stage was that night, and Dick Gregory was in the audience, and I ain't looked back since.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling people that. I don't know what it means, but it means something to me.
That's royalty. Now, did you make them laugh?
I did. And he gave me some advice, too.
And you using it, ain't you?
All he said was, move the mic. He was like, move the mic. You holding the mic like a rapper. Put that mic. And so I hold it. Most comedians do that, though. We hold it on our chin or right here. But that's he said move the mic. That's all he told me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, not to undersell your comedy career, but I mean, you've been in some major places. You've been in different contests. If you could run those down for the audience.
Man, first shout out to Bob Sumner, man, one of my comedy mentors who helped me get into a lot of these contests, helped me groom myself and prepare me for showcasing. Right. Laugh-A-Palooza is one. Jamie Foxx used to have a comedy festival that he did every year around about the fall, and I won that contest. A little bit about that. The winner from that contest gets to be spotlighted on Comedy Central, Laugh-A-Palooza. And I was supposed to go up before Big Leslie at the time. Her name was Big Leslie.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, oh, you next. Now I'm going to go before you. And yeah, I wish she wouldn't have done that. I was only a year in. She murdered that stage, and I almost got embarrassed. But I held my own because I won that contest. I also won Stand Up It's Miller Time contest. That's a very prestigious contest within comedians itself, it's almost a 40-year-old contest. I'm the first female, only female to win that contest, and the only person from the South. Bernie Mac has won it. Keenan Ivory Wayans have won it. Cedric the Entertainer has won it. Keisha Hunt has won it.
All right.
Right on.
So basically, what you're telling my audience is that you're comedic royalty.
Right on. Hey, I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it.
And I can definitely appreciate the humility.
Right
But
on.
we're not going to undersell anything here.
Okay, right on.
So, also, right now, you're working on your own comedy club, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a mobile comedy club.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the Lav Jones Comedy Club is mobile. Now, I know from its outset you've had the best and the brightest in Houston and also abroad on your stage, right?
Yes.
So what has been the initial reaction from the community?
It's a good reaction from the community.
Okay.
Especially we keeping safe during the pandemic right now.
Right.
I mean, when I first started at the comedy club, a lot of people thought it was the wrong time. Don't do it. Not now. I can't believe you're doing that. You're inviting people to come out. But that's the purpose of the mobile comedy club in the first place, to build something bigger and safer. Mm-hmm. It's something, a platform that's going to be built for an app for those that don't want to come outside. And my thing is, if the major comedy clubs don't want to invite me into their club so I can build my app, because I need the performance, I need the stage, they don't want to give me that option. The clubs don't want to give me that option. So I created my own comedy club that I could take to any venue in any city, any parts of the world, and film my own comics the way I need to for my app, for the people that don't want to get out the house and still have that live comedy club experience.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, I take it that you have a lot of footage. You also most likely have a media group that you work with.
I do.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of media groups that I work with, a couple of editing teams that I have aboard. The series that I'm doing right now is LJCCTV. That's just one thing I'm doing. I have a lot of other things in the works for reality TV and sitcoms. But LJCCTV, I can't even remember my own stuff. But is a comedy series similar to Comic View and Def Comedy Jam. But it's got some of the dopest, funniest comics ready to rock and roll again for people to come see it.
Right.
I like your cutaway to the camera too.
Yeah. Now my cutaway is I like to keep them engaged with us,
Right
because
on.
I mean, if we start having a real conversation,
Yeah.
we'll be right here.
Okay, that makes sense.
So for the audience, since the beginning of my comedy career, Keisha has been very integral with different advice, and also we have familial connections.
Yes.
Which most people that are watching this,
Yeah.
part of the family.
Right on.
So-
Ties.
Right. So I kind of heard you mention there as far as obstacles with major comedy clubs. Can you expound a little bit on that?
Yeah. With comedy clubs, be though as it may, and we may hate to admit it, but the minority is always shoot on like toilet paper underneath their shoe.
Mm-hmm.
There are some that get a break, and I'm not saying that the improv won't give me a break. They have given me one before, but it's not to the prevalence of our counterparts, our white counterparts. So we have to create our own entities and our own avenues for us to grow as black comedians or as urban comedians, So that part, being a lesbian, being a female, has also taken toll on being put in the top upper tier scale when it comes to being a headliner or having a weekend or even getting booked at an A-list comedy club. So that therefore Lav Jones Comedy Club is going to bring something that those A-list comedy clubs should bring, but from a different perspective, from a black point of view.
Okay, from a black point of view.
Yeah.
So will that be food?
There's always food.
Now will that be drinks?
There's always beverages.
Now, one thing I will call out, you do bring out the top tier talent. I know you have an upcoming show on the 27th.
Yes.
If you could go over some of that lineup.
Yes, okay, September 27th. Okay, the beauty of it, first of all, Lav Jones Comedy Club is mobile. So we find venues to place the comedy club in. Shout out to Salon 180 on the north side of Houston, Texas, 2580 Cypress Creek Parkway, who is powering up Lav Jones Comedy Club September 27th, starring Darren Fleet. We
Okay.
got Darren Fleet on the show. Brady Bob, I'm telling you, he's somebody you want to watch. All the execs, all the comedy execs, you might want to keep your eye on Brady Bob. He is one to watch. He blowing up. Mickey Housley and myself and a few other special guests. We won't say that name.
Okay.
Right on.
Now, Mickey Housley, I'm familiar with him. He
Yes.
does a lot of work in Chicago.
Yes, he does.
And also with Brady Bob, Southside King.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. So,
And Darren Fleet, what
Yes.
behooved me. Yeah, he's doing his thing on Instagram.
right.
Yeah.
And that's where I first found him as well.
Okay.
And a lot of my younger family members, they love him. They love him and Kerwin Claiborne.
Them my boys.
Yeah. Now, Kerwin, that might be another.
Conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
But, I mean, as of right now, as you're working through your entrepreneurship
Mm-hmm.
and also working through different avenues that you want to place your comedy in, is there any support system that you have that is helping you through?
Yeah, first off, the community is helping me. Shout out to other comedians too, who are also helping me. I think you got them coming up next. Behind the Comic is a big help. Tressa Ellaby, she's a big help to me. It takes, they say it takes a village.
Right.
So for what we're building, shout out to the lawyers too. For what we're building, it takes more. At first, I was really trying to do it by myself. Shout out to Mo Vickers. My God, how could I forget Mo Vickers? My sister Mo Vickers. But it takes a village. So, you know, I tried to do it by myself in the beginning, but I think what I was building was bigger than what I was thinking. So I had to bring on some help. I needed some help. Because it's about to be amazing blazing.
Okay. You say amazing blazing.
Amazing blazing.
Right. So I know you've also toured nationally, correct?
Yes, I have.
All right. Can you speak of one good memory that you have from your national touring?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to drink Hennessy and Red Bull before the show. I don't drink at all anymore. And I jumped from the stage to the front table. That was like maybe 4 or 5 feet. And landed that thing, okay? I don't remember nothing after that though.
You don't?
No. I recommend don't be drinking like that before a show. Don't do it.
Did you? Who was on the lineup? when you
Nephew
did-
Tommy, we was on the Three Ladies and the Tommy tour. Shout out to Nephew Tommy, Dominique the comedian, B Flat. That's who and I was opening act. Well, Nephew Tommy was hosting. He come out, do 45 minutes, and then he would interchange with different characters that he do. But I was the opening act, and this was probably like maybe 15 years ago, maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not to tell or age you,
Right.
how long have you been in the comedy?
That's a tricky question because I got two different answers for that. For when I first started, I started in December of 1999, and I left in February of 2000, and I came back in June of 2002, and I've been rocking and rolling ever since. So this year, technically, if we start from point one, because I never left comedy out of my spirit or out of my DICOM, it's always been a part of who I am, and it's gonna always be there. You know, sometimes I be mad at God for giving me such a thing that keeps me up at night to want to make me better. But if we start from that point of inception of me, it was December. So this year will make 20 years. 20 years this year in December.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations on your anniversary.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Now, how can the people find you on social media and also for your mobile venture?
At Laugh Jones Comedy Club on Instagram, at Laugh Jones Comedy Club at gmail.com, 832-768-5704. That's a Houston number. That's Laugh Jones Comedy Club phone number. Also at comedian Keisha Hunt on Instagram, at Keisha Hunt on Facebook and Twitter.
All right.
Right on.
All right. Well, Keisha, it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you on today.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So
Next time we're going to let my chair all the way down. I feel like I got to jump up off of here. My feet don't touch the floor.
we got some telephone books.
I need them. I can't reach the floor.
Just hold what you got.
Okay.
Hold what you got.
My feet.
Now, guys, once we come back from a short commercial break, we're going to have our next illustrious guest come back on. And I promise you, you're going to be wild and inspired. So just hang in with us. World Views with Ken Mills on Boss Up Houston Network.
Evan, did you know Geico is now offering an extra 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies?
Okay.
That's 15% on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? DJ Khaled to be your motivational coach?
Yo, Devin, remember to brush in a circle motion. Thank you, DJ Khaled. Tiny circles, Devin. Do another one. Another one. Is this good? Put in that work, Devin. Don't give up.
Geico. Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th.
Don't play it.
Breakfast at Auntie D's, take one. That's all it's gonna take.
Riggin' Daddy's on the beat.
Wine, dime, killing time, heard it through the grapevine. The type of you that like to get dine anytime. Wine, dime, killing time, heard it through the grapevine. You the type of you that like to get dine anytime. Wine, dime, killing time, heard it through the grapevine. And you the type of you that like to get dine anytime. John P. Sipper, Moet, Patron Sipper. Do you the type of girl that like to pull down the zipper?
I like that shoe.
Hit to fake, appetize. After this, I'm digging your thighs. Real debonair's eye. Looking your eyes, you gotta squirt on your
Go sit down, baby. Go sit down.
And I'm impressed with your waist, petite shape in your thigh. Compliment you on your booty and your hair and your booty. Hey.
Here you go, baby.
Wine, dine, killing time. Heard it through the grapevine. And you the type of dude that like to get dine anytime. Comfort zone with you.
Cut.
Breakfast.
Alright, we're back here now. I have a whole host of people here that I'm going to introduce to you. Now, you may remember from our Breakfast with Auntie D's episode, Behind the Comic with Cliff 2 and the Boss Lady, right? Yeah. But we also have us a new guest here. We have Alejha. How you doing today, Alejha?
I'm doing well. How you?
How y'all doing?
Oh, we good. We good.
All right. Pleasure to have y'all here. So I'll start off with y'all. So Behind the Comic, I see y'all making major moves after the movie. So kind of give us an overview, the reception of the movie, and also the next moves that you guys are working.
Man, September 5th, we debuted Breakfast at Auntie D's. It was an amazing event. And we almost got rained out. It was outside. We almost got rained out. But what was amazing, when the rain started and people said, we got to go, I was almost upset, but I had to really sit back and think, the process is done. I'm here. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it. So this is success. Mm-hmm. But what made it even more successful was that 5 minutes after people start leaving, I saw a caravan of cars pulling back in on the property, and we ended up having a drive-in movie. Yeah. Mm. And if I tell you, it was amazing. It was an amazing event. Horns were blowing. People were it was just amazing. But before the movie, we had this young lady singing, and it just blew everybody away.
Yeah, she definitely helped with the buzz of the event. They've been talking about this young lady as much as they've been talking about the movie.
Yes.
Or the event itself, because it was more than just a movie. It was an event. Mm-hmm. And just as you said, where we're going after, it's been a lot of buzz. I think this was one of the things that let us know where we really stood in everything that we worked on, because you really see the fruits of your labor. And it was, I think it was more grand than what we kind of anticipated. However, it was just what we thought it would be. Yeah. And this was just the icing on the cake. This meaning Miss Alejha.
Okay. So I'll shoot over to you, Alejha. So Alejha, if I understand correctly, you're from Jacksonville, Florida, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right. Now, how did you find your way to Houston to grace us?
Well, actually, my father and a good portion of my family lives here. And so it was a series of a lot of unfortunate events that led me here, but God blessed my broken path. And I'm here. I met these two wonderful people, and they have been nothing short of a blessing to my life since I met them.
Okay. Now, Cliff alluded to your performance that we all were able to witness at the premiere. I couldn't help but notice your vocal style, and it has to come from some level of church, spirituality, or something. Can you touch on that?
Yes, well, I first started to discover that I could sing when I was in the Church of Christ. That's where my grandparents would take me. And so, they sing without instruments. And so, I really had a good upbringing, honing my craft there. And so from there, I led worship for about 4 years. And then, I kind of just branched off. I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to really express myself. I do love God, but I wanted to do it in such a way where I could actually articulate the situations and articulate the feels that it comes of being just a human being.
She does a great job at that.
So, emoting emotion.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Are you an emo singer?
I guess I am. A soul singer would be a better way.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can't just box you into a specific category because your music is so dynamic. Thank you. So, I'll shoot back over to Behind the Comic. So, Behind the Comic, I would take it that her talent encapsulated you guys so much that you wanted to move into the music lane as well?
I'll tell you why I met.
Yes.
When we
I was
met.
just about to say that's important.
When I first met this young lady, she was doing comedy. And she came by, of course, Karen just opening back up. We get ready to get back to it on a Tuesday. Yes, the longest urban open mic comedy spot running here in Houston, period.
3.5 years.
She came over and was doing comedy, and she's good. I was just amazed at her spirit, though. It was just something about her spirit. I mean, really, it was something about her spirit, man. It just kind of attracted me to her, and she left and went away for a minute. But I used to always
follow her,
look, and see how she doing. I used to hit her sometime on the message, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And I was trying to ease it with my words. I didn't want to think I was a creepy old man. But she soon found out quickly that I was in concern. It was not of anything like that. But I just happened to be looking through her page one night. She was on live, and she started singing. I don't know if she was upset about something, but she started singing. And brother, what I heard, it was just it blew me away. I mean, just because people can sing,
right?
But she sang from here. I mean, just I don't know. I really can't explain. I told her wife, I said, baby, look at She told me that's the young lady. I said, yes, look. And she was like, okay, I like that. So I just kept in touch. So I had the grand opening. I mean, the movie debut. I said I had to have on stage.
Yeah.
And like my wife said, since then, phone has been ringing. Who is this? Who is she? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, we need to go and put her part of the family.
I wonder if she even knows what she really, really has, though, and how much it really affects and touches people. Because you may think you're years out, but your tomorrow is here. It's just dynamic, and if you only could hear, I can't even rephrase some of the things that people have said. A lot of people have. There's been a buzz behind your name, and I won't say the song name. I'll let Ken talk about the song name, but there has been an enormous buzz about it, and I think once the viewers hear it for themselves, we won't have to say another word.
And with that said, we sit down and we talk, and I want just to make up a part of Behind the Comic family, because I believe in what she do. My wife believes in what she's bringing, and we just want to kind of back her with management, booking, and try to see what we can do. But after y'all hear this,
You digress.
So what we'll do, I'm going to hold the name of the song because that's going to be a surprise.
Yeah.
Because for the viewers that are out there, I want y'all to be surprised.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get you with a few more questions here. So what are some of your influences with your vocal styling?
Oh, as far as artists,
Mm-hmm.
I love Marvin Gaye to life, and I usually wear my pen for good luck. Wow. And I love Curtis Mayfield. I was like a little girl, and that was like one of the first CDs that I was able to get. Like I didn't have a cassette player. I had a CD player, and I used to steal my stepdad's CDs. And so I had songs in A minor. I had the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and I had Curtis Mayfield, and I used to the Superfly album, and I used to just let it ride, and I would color in my coloring book.
Wow.
Now I'll tell you this. I love the Superfly soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite song on there is Eddie, You Should Know Better.
Yep, brother. I know you're wrong.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because at a point in my life, it was an actual situation that I was in that alluded to that song. I won't get into it. That'll probably be another episode.
Yeah, same. Next show.
No, down the line. Down the line. Statute of limitations not too long. But yeah, I mean, you have a well-rounded influence palette there. One thing I will ask you when it comes to Marvin Gaye, which era of Marvin Gaye?
I'm gonna have to say Beanie Marvin Gaye, the album that has I Want You on it. Mm-hmm. And definitely because of the instrumentation, and I just have to admire that man's ear. Like, he did all the background voices himself. There was nobody else in there with him. Like, he just did everything himself, and like I have to tip my hat off to that. And I think he was way before his time, and we could all take note.
Most definitely. So what powers you to perform or even to pursue this on a major level?
A number of things. It's definitely more than one thing. My biggest influence would be that when I do sing, I may not know what it's doing for someone else, but I can always tell afterwards how much people enjoy it and how much it makes them happy. And for a large portion of my life, I was extremely unhappy. And so whenever I encounter a person that is maybe down, or maybe they're down on themselves, if just opening my mouth will help them to maybe feel better about themselves or upbuild them, I think I would be doing a huge disservice to even our Creator to hold that within inside of me. So I like to express myself. I like to talk to people after singing, and I want to make people happy. I want to make them feel good too.
Beautiful spirit, man. Spirit is beautiful.
Yeah. So, behind the comment, if you listen to the same thing I'm listening to, this young lady with this spirit and with this gift, what are y'all gonna do? What are y'all gonna do overall? We're behind the comment.
Actually, we've been having conversations, and you know, a few things that she has aspirations for. What we want to do now is mesh it together, and see how it works. And you know, God is influenced in our lives. It's a beautiful thing as God is influenced in her life, and we're gonna put that together. And I assure you, with the mentality I have and with the smarts my wife got, we finna take it to the top, man.
I just want to say, watch, because I don't like to give out.
Yeah.
I'm not a giver upper like that. I just want to say, watch and see, because my mentality is right here. But once you start actually putting the work in, things start to evolve and they take on a life of their own, and we're going straight to the top in whatever we're doing. So I'm just saying, like, watch out for her. Watch out for Miss AZ, Miss Aaliyah, Moraine, or not. I'm just being facetious when I say Moraine. Zeraine, because it sounds like Moraine. So I just want to say, look out for her, because with everything we're doing here in Houston, in comedy and entertainment, and the way we're all moving this network along
with yourself, Mr. King.
Right, exactly. I'm definitely speaking of this network. You'll definitely see her again.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So, how can they find Behind the Comic?
You can find us at Behind the Comic on Facebook. You can find us at Clip2_Behind the Comic on Instagram, or Mrs. PT2 _ Boss Lady on Instagram.
All right. Now, everyone out there in TV land, this is what I'd like for y'all to do. Stay tuned, because when we come back, we'll have a special surprise for you. I promise you, you don't want to miss it. But when we come back from this brief commercial break, you'll get it. It's World Views with Ken Mills on Boss Up Houston Network.
Everything that I heard today, I definitely think we can lawyer you up today. Tune into the Lawyer Up with Steve podcast on the Boss Up Houston Network. Come get your questions answered. We'll see you then. And remember, Lawyer Up.
Auntie D's, take one. That's all it's gonna take.
Bringing daddies on the beat.
Wine, dime, killing time, heard it through the grapevine. The type of you that like to get dine anytime. Wine, dime, killing time, heard it through the grapevine. You the type of you that like to get dine anytime. Wine, dime, killing time, heard it through the grapevine. And you the type of you that like to get dine anytime. Northeast sipper, Moet, Patron sipper. Then you the type of girl that like to pull down the zipper. I like that shoes. It's to say appetizing. After this, I'm digging your thighs. Real debonair's high. Look in your eyes, you got a smirk on your.
Go sit down, baby. Go sit down.
And I'm impressed with your waist, petite shape in your thigh. Compliment you on your booty and your hair and your booty. Hey.
Here you go, baby.
Wine, dine, killing time, heard it through the grapevine. And you the type of dude that like to get dine anytime. Comfort zone with you.
Cut. You're smooth like chocolate. But you even better as butter. I guess I have to call you chocolate butter. Chocolate butter with a hint of fantasy. I've been dreaming of what it's like to get a piece. Make it happy, honey. So it's sticky, smooth and sweet. Now I'm begging for your more tasting, no more sampling, baby. I wanna bite. Ooh, let's get explicit. Suck it and lick and drip your chocolate butter all over mine. I can make it hot just like an oven. Help me juke it. It's about to be 400 degrees. Ooh, you know you want it. Step on it front, you know you want it. Pop it better than me. Chocolate butter, baby, heavy on the floor. Ooh, got me on my knees, begging for some more. Chocolate butter, baby, how can I get more? Tell me, how can I get with your sauce? Chocolate butter, baby, heavy on the floor. Ooh, baby, I need a little more. How can I be down with your sauce?
Wanna be a boss? You're watching Boss Up Houston Network. It's Boss Up Houston, where we look up, stay up, and boss up. Wanna be a boss? You're watching Boss Up Houston Network. It's
Alright, we're back. Now we gotta give it up to the chocolate bar. Now, I'm just
400 degrees, calling a juke it.
I'm just
Begging for more on the knee. I need the sauce. Chocolate covered, baby.
Alright. Now, Keisha, we're gonna put you in the car seat.
I know. It is, you know what, by law I'm supposed to have grills. I have not had requirements. Yeah. I badly made the height requirement.
Now, I'd like to thank all of my illustrious guests for coming out here tonight, especially Mr. B, Keisha Hunt, behind the comic, and none other than the lovely.
Yes.
All right. Now, this whole episode, it should be it should be a testament of how everyone used inspiration in their lives to drive them to a better place. Now, you know I end all my episodes with a brief word, and I'm going to do so right now. So, right now, you may be at home, you might can rap, you might can sing, you might be very smart, want to go to college, but you're always thinking about what's stopping you from getting there. Take that out of the equation. Remove that from the variable. Focus on what you want to do and do it. My wife, she lost her aunt last week. Rest in peace to Teresa Jones, AT. One thing I learned from that situation is I sat at the funeral on Saturday. Everybody had on their bands. Is that we never know when God will call us home. And with that being said, why wait till tomorrow? If you have an aspiration, follow it right now. Your inspiration should come from whatever source that you deem. If it comes from a higher power, that's great. If it comes from anything that's material, that's great. But realize that if it comes from a higher power, you'll be very grounded, and also the universe will bless you. I'll tell you my brief inspiration. My inspiration comes from God first, but secondly to my wife. I'll tell you personally, every time I wake up in the morning, I look at my wife and I wonder how God created somebody so perfect. just drives me even more to give her something that she wants, and also things that I really want her to have. That's what powers me. And on the other side, God put me in the position He wants me to be here. So I have to live up to His expectations. So I'm stronger on myself than anyone else. Nobody has to tell me to do anything, because I do it. So what I'd like for you to do is open your minds, open your hearts, and stay focused. Be safe out here. Ken Mills here with World Views. Follow us, and next week we're going to have a special episode. I'm not going to give out the title, but when you see it, you're going to want to watch. You guys have a great night. We'll see you then.
Yeah.